Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Galactic Review, where we're going to be discussing and going over the new Joker 2 movie. I don't know how to properly put this movie into words besides it's absolutely atrocious. I'm just going to give it a 2 out of 10. I thought this was a disappointment and a absolute disgrace to the first movie. Everything they did with it, I feel like they did incorrectly. I don't think I have anything really good to say about this movie, besides the only reason I gave it a 2 instead of a 1 was because I enjoyed the songs that the actors did not sing, and that's pretty much it. It was just
So
so
the songs that he sang or the songs that were
no,
part
no,
of the
no.
soundtrack?
The songs that were part of the soundtrack that the actors did not sing.
Mm.
So in the background and everything. That's the only thing I enjoyed about this movie. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I thought it was just a disgusting, unnecessary film that just destroyed the first one. I don't know what else to say to that. We can discuss like bigger details later. So I'll let you go. You guys go and tell me how much you enjoyed this movie.
Well, one thing I want to say right off the bat is that I believe this was my movie choice, and I gratefully accept that you did the intro
Hey,
and
look,
everything. But I
I'll take
think
it. You know what? I was just
you
so
were just ready to
excited.
go. You
I
were
was
just ready to
ready to
go
just
with this.
rant. I absolutely hate this movie. I understand, Andrew, why you gave us that look.
Yes,
Well, do you want to go, Andrew? Or you want me to go?
I'll go. Right out of the gate, I'll give it a one. As much as I love music, as much as I love musicals, as much as I love Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix, and how Joaquin Phoenix portrays this character, reviewing it as a movie, it is one of the worst movies I have ever seen from a pure, just like what the movie is supposed to do, what the movie does, coherence of the story, how it acts as a sequel. So I think Tarantino said he loved it because and loves the director because he made it as like a middle finger to like the entire movie industry, not just like Hollywood tropes, but just the entire movie industry, subverting expectations and subverting like sequel expectations, especially. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. Don't do that. Just don't do that. You made a movie that so many people loved, and then you set up the sequel so well. Not only the marketing was bad, I will say that because it was a heavy musical with music for a large portion of the things, and a lot of people just don't like musicals. And when you market it with all the trailers and stuff, not hinting at all that it's a musical, even if you just hint at it a little bit, just not showing that it's a musical, people are going to be upset that it's not a musical. When you do what you did at the end of the movie, people are going to be upset because it makes the entire first movie seem pointless. Even if it's like an alternate universe, it just doesn't. It was so disheartening. So many things that were just like, what was the point of literally the entire point of the reason, the entire previous portion of me watching this? The first movie was phenomenal. This one's just falls flat in so many ways. Um, I think up until like halfway or 75% of this movie, I was just like, oh yeah, this is all right. This is decent. First one's better, but like this is decent. I can get past the misuse of musical numbers because musical numbers are supposed to further the story and further the character development and further the plot points. This just was like songs for the sake of songs and to show off the fact that they had Lady Gaga and that Joaquin Phoenix can kind of sing, even though he chain smokes daily. Yeah, the whole thing just falls flat and is disappointing.
Before I go, what was the thing that earlier that you were saying that made the movie kind of pointless? Right?
There was a decision that Harley Quinn made towards the end that was literally just like, what was the point of literally everything? The very end, what happens with Joker and Arthur, just like what was the whole point of building up this monolithic character? Um, and there's one thing if you do that to a character and show the aftermath to where it really kind of like gives it like a this is legacy, this is like a story arc, but it literally to put spoilers into it now with his death, it made everything literally just pointless. There's no cause to his death, there's no reason to his death. other than just kind of like he
Are
messed
you
around and found out.
are you talking about with Harley just leaving him?
Yes, she
I,
is insane. She is an insane person. And you're telling me she has the self-control to just be like, don't call me again. I think we need to just walk away.
I think that more so has to do with the fact that she got told that this was all a lie, what she believed.
I mean,
Set the
still,
building
it's
on
one
fire for fun.
that is true. But at the same time, she was
She set the
a
building on fire to get his attention because she
Exactly.
because she
And she'll do
thought,
that, and then she'll just be like, it's not you, it's me. And then walk away.
yeah. I really didn't like her character and how they handled her in at all in this film either.
yeah, I
She
don't
was
it
she
I
just
don't
seemed
know.
pointless by the end of the movie.
Well, yeah, she was essentially just there to be a problem, and she was to for the most for like the whole movie. Um,
Like it felt like she was there to make him realize he is Joker, and at the same time he still gave that up at the end of the movie. Like I
mm,
don't understand. Like w
I think I do, but I think what they were going for was Arthur Fleck was cutting loose for the most part in the first movie. And in the second movie, he was trying to keep up the facade of when he was cutting loose in the first movie. And he just broke down and couldn't do it anymore. And I think they did a horrible job of showing his breakdown of him wanting to not do it anymore. I will agree with that. But there were definitely elements there that could have been better used to show him thinking of, should I keep going? Should I just stop and like confess everything and stuff? Like with the midget Gary Puddles, which because of that stupid courtroom scene, I'll never forget his name now. Uh, but with him, with the way that the guards beat him up in the shower, with the friend that was kind of sticking up for him the best way he could, getting killed by the guard.
It wasn't the
I
guard.
could, I, huh?
It wasn't the guard.
Yeah, wasn't it the guard that like
It was a prisoner.
no, it was one of the guards because
no, one of
they
the
had
guards
just
Wasn't the guards?
killed one of the
yeah,
prisoners, right?
yeah, one of the guards killed the prisoner that was like his sidekick.
Like his friend, like the
Yeah,
only kind of like the one of the few friends
because
he had in the prison.
he wouldn't stop singing after he threw him in the cell after they beat him up.
Yeah,
Are you talking about who killed Arthur?
No, no, no,
no,
no,
no,
no,
no,
no.
no, 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 no.
After
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm
Yeah,
yeah,
talking
no,
about
no,
like
you're
when
fine.
he's like
You're
right
fine.
before he goes back to the courtroom. There's that
Yeah, when
scene where
he
like when
yeah,
he's after he gets beats up after he gets beaten up by the guards and then thrown back in his cell. The one of the other prisoner that was his friend keeps
yes, yes,
singing,
yes,
and the
yes,
guard takes him out of the cell and essentially strangles him to death.
yes, 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 yes. Sorry.
That's what I'm
Yes.
mainly talking about. And I think that could have been better shown how his like kind of breakdown and him being like, I can't do this anymore kind of
Mm.
thing. And that could have been better portrayed, but I don't understand the thing about Harley as you guys keep on
I mean,
talking
one
about
that that's just
with the
it's
end.
not Harley.
I know it's not Harley, but like this also isn't Joker. So
I mean, yeah, I get that too, but
I
it
mean, it's close enough to
neither
a Joker to be like, oh, this is a different
yes,
story Joker.
I'll be yes. The reason
no, no,
if they kept
this
him
isn't.
acting like the way he did at the end of the first movie, I think he would have been okay to be called a Joker.
I
But
disagree with that, but
they didn't, and I feel like they just ignored and completely neglected Harley Quinn's character in pretty much every way. She put herself in there just to see him, and then she left, and then she tries to help him, but ultimately gives up on him and then just walks away.
well, she gives up on him when she realizes that he's not the guy that she thinks she is, and then leaves.
But that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, who were you looking for specifically? He's still the same guy. Are you saying he's not the guy because he doesn't want to be the guy anymore?
I'm not saying it
Like,
doesn't make sense that she leaves him, I'm
Well,
saying it makes sense that she just leaves.
well, yes.
She's insane.
Well,
Even if
so is
she's not
she
the Harley
because,
Quinn insane that we're used to.
well, yes, but the thing is, she left him because he no longer wanted to be insane.
I think the whole reasoning for like the trial stuff was that he wasn't insane.
No, they were trying to show that he was insane in his defense that was that he is.
Yeah, but like the district attorney was showing that he wasn't, and I think the district attorney actually showed that he wasn't insane. He was just a guy that had a lot of trauma.
Yes,
And without
his
any
district
self-control,
attorney
he just
was.
and without any self-control when given the advantage, he acted out and overdid whatever self-defense measures he should have done and or could have done and made everything worse and worse.
Yeah, his attorney tried to, but also did an absolutely terrible job.
Yeah, well, like her whole angle of it was trying to show that he was a split personality, and that was a bad angle to go off of.
Well,
But I think that
it's not
might
a
have been like
bad.
the
It wasn't that it was a bad angle. I just don't think they did it correctly because
also
with the
well,
question she was asking, it just made him look more and more like the villain.
yeah, well, add on top of that, like the whole Harley thing kind of screwed him up on that as well. Harley
Yeah.
kind of messed him up to the point where even if he was to try to go that way deliberately, that might not have been able to. I don't know. For this movie, I guess for me, there are things I don't hate it near as much as you guys do, which is ironic, I think, because usually I'm the one that hates movies. But this one I did not mind like what they were trying to show. I just think it didn't connect a lot of the times, and hence why it's kind of feels like a disjumbled mess. I don't really get anything
Well,
else.
Want
I
to rate it?
what would you rate it?
maybe like a 4. Like I probably won't watch it again, don't get me wrong, but like I don't think I don't hate it, but it's not a movie I'd watch again.
Personally, I left the theater wishing I could get a refund.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it was after when I saw that it only had like 30 minutes left and it was almost over, I really questioned why did I sit through an hour and a half, almost 2 hours of this?
Yeah.
It was not worth it in any way to go see this movie.
And I'd agree with you guys to some extent. Like this wasn't a good movie to go see. I guess I don't get why you guys hate it so much. Like have a like kind of like a disdain for it. Like you get why it's a bad movie. I just don't get the disdain.
Because they set the expectation here. The movie kind of does this throughout the entire thing and then just falls apart at the end
Mm.
and makes it feel like the entire first movie and the whole story the entire way is pointless.
Yeah, it had no,
Nothing ruins a good story like a bad ending.
yeah, that nothing felt, all the songs were just extras. They didn't need them. They just took away from the plot of the movie, I felt like.
Mm.
It was more of a distraction, really, throughout this movie.
Like you know me, I love musicals, but it's a form of storytelling. And all that the songs did was go, look, they're insane.
It just, I don't see anything you can get from it, anything you can enjoy from watching this movie.
Well, I do think Joaquin Phoenix's and Lady Gaga's acting performances weren't bad. It's just writing
Oh, yeah.
wasn't good,
Oh, oh yeah, I mean, yeah, they're,
the
yeah.
story isn't a bad concept. It just was disjointed with it trying to also be a musical along with it. The first one's his rise. The second one's this one, I guess, is would be his like fall and what would happen to this guy if he, I guess, went through the system.
I don't know because it led up with this whole thing. There was the explosion, he broke out, and I was like, okay, that's an interesting, they're gonna set it up. There's gonna be riots, a whole bunch of things. And no, he just gets captured again. What was the point of them having the whole scene of him breaking out of the
So he
explosion,
could.
the car bomb, him breaking out, leaving,
Hmm.
and then just gets right back to prison?
My guess is that's to get him to get in touch with Harley again, which I wasn't hope, which I didn't I wouldn't have wanted that scene. I think that scene was stupid. What I think they should have done instead of that scene was him going to her apartment and seeing her on the floor with brains blown out, and then him going back to jail because there's nothing else to live for anymore, and then him getting shivved. I think that would have been better for that instead of the stairway scene. But no, I get what you guys are. I get what you guys are saying. I know why some of those scenes were necessary, but it could have been done better.
I mean, the whole movie could have been done better.
Yeah,
I
because
mean, just get a
it was
whole new
disjointed
script
with
right.
it was
I'm
disjointed
sure
with the musicals trying to
it honestly,
intertwine with the story
if a
that they were trying to
human
tell.
if a human wrote this, I would prefer AI to write. That's how disappointed and disgusted I am with this movie.
Well, I
Like
also don't know
the
if they
premise is fine. The premise is fine. It's just they
yeah
Yes,
carried it out so awfully
yeah, and I'll agree with
that it
that.
made everything else seem pointless.
yes. It was
I don't
just a whole bunch of wasted potential.
yeah, I think if they would have done some things differently, like the Harley Quinn scene with the staircase, instead of having that, and instead of like going back on her with like one pulling the gun on the trigger and everything, and her kind of blowing her brains out in her apartment. Instead, if he was like to go find her apartment, find her, and then he ends up giving himself up when they go into the apartment and follow him there.
Well,
I
yeah,
would
if
understand that more.
because I was expecting because she said prior that she was living in his old apartment. So I
Yeah,
was expecting him to go there and find her there,
yeah.
either dead or about to commit suicide. But
No, I think she
neither of
would
that
have.
happened.
I think I would have. It would have been better if she was dead. That way, he would have been like, "There's nothing for me to live for anymore," and he would have gone right back to jail and been worse than when he was before all this. I guess.
I mean, either way, it would have made more sense. So,
Take if you take the two movies as a complete story, it's a bad story.
oh
It
yes,
serves no point. It serves no purpose. Even
honestly,
like a tragedy tends to have a purpose. It tends to have a lesson. This is
yes.
literally just watch a man descend into madness, contemplate whether he's mad or not, and then lose it all.
Yeah, you can 100% just watch the first movie and be a-okay. You don't have to see the second one at all. That's the biggest drawback of this is I've never seen a sequel flop so bad, especially how the first one built it up so much.
Have we talked it to death?
I think it died when it first showed on.
All right. Well, tune in next time for Red One. Um, thank you for tuning into this dogfight over review of Joker Folie Do. Let us know if you agree or disagree or have a middle ground or lukewarm or hot take in the comments. You'd rather have us watch a movie other than Red One, or if you want us to watch Red One for the entire rest of the next year, we're not doing that. Um, but if you want us to, let us know. Anyways, see you next time. Like and subscribe. Back to reviews.
It was less so a dogfight and more like a crash and burn, and then the pilot cried medic. That's kind of how that movie went.
Yes. Yes.